This may come as a shock to you, but Mrs. Tomlinson does not enjoy all areas of science. And in science class, I'm sure there are things that we have looked at that you're like, don't care. However, we need to be aware of the world around us and be able to answer certain questions and have a basic understanding of how things work. So, to keep your interest piqued, I want to make sure that you're up to date on some interesting things that happen with science. And so, as a department, we have access to a lot of online interesting science articles. And so I'm going to ask you to read an article every once in a while, and probably very often, like once a week. And you're going to need to pick an article and respond to it. You might want to pick something like why thieves stole thousands of gallons of maple syrup. Woo! Or maybe you're interested in bugs on our bodies. Maybe you're like an animal person and you want to know about the forests and poaching. Maybe you want to learn about rivers. Maybe you want to learn how to build things. Maybe you just want to check out some interesting information regarding ice crystals and castles. Or maybe you want to look into some kind of science that interests you that you haven't actually learned about before. And some of us need to stretch our learning, and some of us really need to practice reading informational science. So what I'm going to ask you to do is use the links to either log on and look at a Science World magazine. And these articles are all online, so you can do them at home. Or you can do them in class online, or I have lots and lots of Scholastic magazines that have great science articles in them. And you just have to decide that, one, it has a credible author. Like, who is this person that's telling me about science? Like, is it a doctor? Is it a dentist? Is it a researcher? Is it a biologist? Or, is it the guy who comes to school and sits behind the desk to just hang out and babysit? Who's writing the article? What's their purpose of writing the article? I want you to choose an article that is at your reading level. Don't pick one that's too hard, but also don't pick one that's too easy. If it's too easy, you will be bored. If it's too hard, you're not going to be able to engage with the material. So pick an article that you at least don't know one of the words in it, but you know most of them. I am going to ask you about a new term that you learned, and hopefully you can understand what it means by the time you're done with the article. So as you read the article, I'm going to ask you to think about these particular questions. What article did you read? Why did you choose the particular article? What's the author's purpose? Is it to persuade, inform, entertain, explain, or describe? What's it about? What's the new term you learned and what's it mean? What is one new bit of information you learned? And how do you rate the article? Okay? And then later I will ask us in class, what in the article do you think everyone should know or understand? So like if you're going to share some new information with your bestie, what would you tell them that you just learned about that might pique their interest? Okay? And then one new question that you might have about the article. Like, so let's say you're reading about gorillas. Oh, as you're reading it, you might be like, oh, I wonder if, and then you'll come up with a question. Or like if you're reading about bees, whoa, I wonder if bees can do this, and can they da-da-da-da, right? Like, so come up with a new question. So you'll need to actually submit a Google form for each of these articles that you're responsible for completing. I'll tell you when they're assigned. I'm expecting you to use your class time wisely. And it is okay with me if you want to read with a partner. You just have to submit your own Google form in order to get credit. All right, there's so much information out there. I hope you are able to access more of it and understand lots of it so that you can get a broader understanding of just what we cover, not just in class, but on Earth. All right, enjoy an amazing read.